Recently I've been hearing a lot of when I'm talking to like my clients and even in business and other people that I'm speaking to, there's one big thing that that really pops up, and it's always about the topic of leads, right? Because usually that's where what most businesses or every business wants, right? Like leads, clients, and all that stuff. And on the topic of like leads stuff, right? Usually people talk about a few things, right? People talk about like, okay, the lead generation part, and then after that about like, okay, how you get a lead, and then how you get to close them, and then talk about like sales strategies and all that stuff, right? So and I was just like listening to one of my friends and a good friend that was speaking to me about it, and I just want to share this with you, right? Which I feel like is really true. Number one, and secondly, like I see even in my own business, and I think that every company or every I don't know business, whether you're in consulting, whether are you a financial advisor, property agent, whatever, right? Like you really need to know this, because if you don't do this, you're going to miss out a lot of the market share. Okay, so basically, what happens is that when it comes to leads, there are literally like three parts to it, right? So let me just draw my not so nice drawing. So number one, usually people talk about like lead generation, right? And this is where like lead gen. Okay, yeah, just my handwriting. But basically, when every time people talk about lead generation, you only care about like how many the number of leads that they are getting, the quality of leads. That's another one, right? People talk about the quality of leads, and stuff like that. And then like the last one, or the second one that most people talk about is about converting these leads, right? We talk about, okay, how many, what kind of sales strategy should we use? Talk about like, sales script, talk about like how can we pre-frame them and all that stuff, right? So you realize that most people talk about like converting the leads, and secondly talk about like generating the leads, right? Now, while this is all great and obviously is a key to getting your leads and getting businesses, what most people miss out is the middle, right? And this is what we call lead nurturing, right? So you realize that most people talk about the first two, I mean the number one and number three, but they don't talk about nurturing the leads. And this is a waste, because you think about it, right? Let's say you have like 100 leads, okay? And let's say this 100 leads, or like 100, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. It could be 100 leads, it could be 100 people that you meet up, especially if you are in the insurance line, right? Or 100 people that you meet up. What's going to happen is that if you meet all 100 of them, you're probably going to have I don't know, if you are good, maybe you have you have probably have like 20% that you close them, right? And then you're going to have the other 80% that you don't close. Okay, I mean, I'm talking about at the end of the day you don't close. I'm sure you probably have to do some follow-ups and all that stuff, but let's just say that you close 20% of them and you don't close 80% of them. Now, what most people do, especially like this happens a lot in small businesses, this happens a lot with property agents, insurance agents, network marketing, whatever it is, right? Direct sales. So what usually happens is that this 20% close, right? Because they are clients, we will then have like a list of like the clients that are with them, right? But what happens is that this 80%, I'm sorry, like not close. Okay, didn't close. Okay, so this 80% of people that didn't close, what they usually do is that most people would just chuck this aside. Okay, they'll chuck into this. I don't know. Let me just draw this dustbin. Okay, they'll just like chuck into this dustbin, and they just like leave these people inside the dustbin. Okay, and what usually happens after that is like when it's going to be rushing out of sales, end of the year sales target, quarterly target, whatever it is, and then like half a year, 1 year later, they pick these people again, and then they start to text them, right? They start to text them, I don't know, send them birthday wishes, I don't know, happy Mid-Autumn Festival, whatever it is, right? So they text them, or like they'll start to ask them like, hey, we have this promotion. Okay, we have a promotion, we have this deal, that's happening right now, will you be interested and all that stuff. And guess what, right? Like they do it and then they expect like these leads to literally, reply them. And this is like the biggest mistakes, right? Because the whole point is that there's a reason why like they reject you in the first place, right? It could be, a wrong time or whatever it is. And what happens is that, maybe they don't like your face, maybe they don't trust you and all that stuff, right? But here's the thing, most people leave it here and they do not form a relationship with them, right? Why this is key? Because when you form a relationship with them, over time, let's say you give them, you give them value, you give them, top of mind, kind of like marketing stuff, or you just literally just keep in touch with them, right? Keep in touch, okay? And things like that. So if you continue to do this like over a long run, firstly, people are going to understand that, that you are there, right? People will remember that you exist. And secondly, they will know that, you're building a relationship with them, giving them free value rather than just attempting to close like a high buy kind of thing, right? So think of it as you want to form a real long-term relationship with these people rather than just like hey, do you want to, it's like dating, right? You don't literally go to the girl or to the guy and say that, hey, you want to date me? And then, if they say no, and then you're just like, okay, bye. Then maybe 2 years later, you hear on this guy or this girl again. Like, you don't do that, right? If you're really interested in these people, right? I mean, obviously, in the dating phase, hopefully it's just one. Like, if you're really somebody interested and committed to that. But, like, most of the time, you probably just want to make friends. If they say no, it's fine. You continue to give them value. You continue to, nurture this relationship, right? Until one point in time, I mean, this is in no way, like this, trust me, this is where people will tell me, oh, does it mean that when you do it for a long run, you'll get like 100%, people will definitely fall in love with you, people will definitely buy your products and services and all that stuff? The answer is no, right? Because there's still going to be some people that just it's not the right time, they just don't like you and things like that. But for the most part, it's going to work, right? As long as you keep the relationship warm and going. Now, why is this so crucial? Very simple. Look at it. With every 100 people you close, you have 20 of them, you're leaving like 80 people on the table. You're leaving like 80 people on the table, like literally wasted. You don't even have to spend a time with them and all that stuff. It just goes off, right? And this is why you need to start nurturing these people. Because if you don't, the problem is that you're going to be stuck in this whole paradigm of like lead generation and like converting these leads. You see, when people are trying to generate leads, whether is it, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever it is, the problem with, especially like in the self-employed, like insurance property kind of like industry, one of the biggest challenges is that it doesn't happen like all the time, right? But like one of the biggest challenge that I've noticed so far is that like you have the prospect over here, you have this poor little like Tom, Dick, Harry like customer over here, and he's like bombarded with like so many different ads, right? Like ad number 1, ad number 2, and then ad number 3. And what happens is that he's going to get like, oh, this might be good, and all that stuff. But over time, when he keeps getting bombarded, he's not exactly sure like what is good and what isn't, unless the ad and the landing page always is very amazing. But like, he will need to then start like, okay, doing comparison, right? Doing whether, okay, should I buy this? Should I buy that? Or should I buy or don't even buy it at all, right? And what happens is that if at this stage, if the business or you yourself just give up, if this person don't buy immediately, what's going to happen is that for somebody that is doing the opposite, which is they're going to nurture this lead and all that stuff, they are going to be the one like ending up with a sale, right? Because you just give up too easily, right? That's why people do lead nurturing, or like most people don't, because it takes time, right? People only care about generating leads and all that stuff. Now, what happens is that you go over here, you try to close, and if you don't close, and then there goes the lead, same thing, you end up with the trash bin, into the dustbin, and then, yeah, right, this is usually what happens. So that's why it's crucial for you to nurture the leads. And another point to note is, you realize that in number 1 and number 3, this is where like most competition, like this place over here, this is where like you have a lot of competition here, right? Because everybody, you think about it, generating leads are the fastest, right? Because you can just get a lead in Facebook ads or whatever it is. Converting the leads are also kind of like a phase or stage where it gives you like more immediate results, right? You want leads, and this is what most people want, right? They want immediate results of getting the lead. They want immediate results of like closing a lead, because that means revenue and that means business. But if everybody wants that, then obviously it's granted that they will have like there's going to be a lot of competition there. And if there's a lot of competition there, then this means that the chances of you closing or converting a lead is not like it's not in your favor, right? Unless your product or services or your branding reputation is like, you know, top notch, then maybe it'll work, right? But more often than not, you're gonna have difficulty. And that's the reason why they don't do the lead nurturing side, because it takes time. It is not instant, right? And you need to practice a lot of delay gratification, you know, and it takes time, you know, to track the customer's data, their birthday, whatever it is, right? It's a lot of work, right? That's why most people don't do that. But here's the thing. If you are able to do that and you take a conscious note and make it an effort to really nurture these leads, there's going to be some point in time that the ROI is going to be like crazy, right? Because you're in here for like the long run. And the other point is that, you know, if you don't do this as well, then you're going to lose out, because this is where literally where you have the least competition, like the least competition. Okay, so if you can take the mindset of like playing it in the long run, in long term, and building the foundation for that, then you're going to win in the long run, right? I mean, obviously, this probably applies to, this applies to every business, but most like huge ass businesses or companies, they probably have a CRM kind of like software or solution in it, which is going to help. But if today you are a financial advisor, a property agent, or self-employed, or freelancer and stuff like that, right, then you probably need to take note of this, right? Because the rest of your other market, like the rest of the competition, you know, they're being dumb. They're just like being a number one and being a number three, and there you are like nurturing this, right? And this is where like people are gonna know you because you have that relationship, right? And things like that, right? And you know, you heard of it, right? Relationship over like just transactions, right? Because the relationship is gonna be the one that sticks, right? So while you can have other of your like your leads getting or purchasing other products with, you know, another company or another service provider, if however at some point in time, if they don't feel the most satisfied, right? Because trust me, there are going to be times where they're going to face other businesses, it's going to face customers unhappiness and all that stuff. The next person that they're going to find is definitely you, because you're nurturing that relationship, right? You're doing all sorts of things. So if you can adopt this kind of mindset, trust me, it's going to be like super good for you, right? So basically, like, this is literally what I wanted to just, you know, share with you guys here on like the 3 stages: lead gen, lead nurturing, and like converting leads. And if you're able to play in a field whereby there, you know, is lesser competition, and in the long run you're going to win and like literally get your competition out, then this is something that you should really consider and really do, because like, let's be honest, if you are going into lead generation and like converting leads and all that stuff, it's just too saturated, right? So be different. Okay, be different, play the long-term game, and you're going to win. Okay, so basically this is what I have for this video today. And obviously, if you like this video, you think there's value, and always just share this with your friends. Okay, so, you know, literally just like the video below, you know, comment what do you think, you know, does this make sense and all that stuff, and just want to hear your feedback on this. And lastly, like, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to post more of these videos, sharing my journey, what I know, what I've learned with you guys. Hopefully, you know, you can also benefit from this form of value as well. Okay, cheers.